Let's talk about one of the fastest ways to kill your career. Make excuses on a regular basis. Hi, my name's Irina. I've been in leadership roles over the past couple of decades or so, and today I'd like to talk about a silent career killer that is not really talked about as much as it should be, and that is making excuses, especially in leadership roles. Now, excuses in my book are no good no matter what your job is, no matter what your responsibilities are, but especially in leadership roles. I've led other leaders and I've led frontline teams, and I think I've seen every excuse that I could possibly see. And no different than I've seen every call out reason that I could possibly see, from my dog is sick to I have scarlet fever to, who knows, just crazy stories that I've heard over the years. And excuses are something that I've noticed on a regular basis. And what really perplexed me was that the people that made the most excuses were in leadership roles. So I really paid attention, close attention to that, to try to understand why is it that people, especially in leadership roles, make so many excuses. And I don't know that I have the answer. I'd like to open a topic and have a conversation, but I don't know that I have the answer. But let's talk about what excuses can do. So let's say you are in a leadership role and you're responsible for a team, you're responsible for a bunch of projects, just regular tasks that a leader would have. And generally, those responsibilities, those deliverables are expected by a certain date in a certain format. And let's say that you have some sort of project that's due in a week and a half, and your boss comes to you and says, "Hey, hey Jane, how's that project going? Where are you at? Do you need any support? It's due in a week and a half. Where do we stand? Will you be delivering?" And your answer is, "Oh, I've just been so busy, and the team's taken up so much of my time, and I just don't know that I'm gonna be able to do it. I was also sick that one day, and then I had 2 days of PTO, and that really set me behind. I'm still catching up. I just don't know what to do." While that may seem valid to you when you're bringing that excuse to the table, it is not a reason not to deliver. And one of my old mentors told me when I was very young, there's a difference between a reason and an excuse. And you better damn well know the difference because it will impact you for the rest of your career. And for some reason, that just stuck with me over the years. So, yes, Jane is a little bit set back. Yes, she's probably struggling a little bit. But did Jane come to the table and ask for help? Did she proactively say, "Hey, I'm drowning, I'm catching up, I have a lot on my plate right now, and I don't know that I can make this deadline"? Or did Jane just say, "I just don't have the time, I've been buried"? That right there, making an excuse when asked without proactively having come to the table and saying, "I don't know that I'm going to be able to deliver," damages your reputation. It damages your boss's trust in you. It erodes trust, and that's very, very hard to get back. That also becomes your reputation. So if there's one situation where there's just things are just wilding out at work and everything is due right now and everything's a priority, I think we've all been there. That's like a one-off situation, and that can happen where you fall behind at one time, right? But if this becomes a regular practice and a regular MO where you're not answering your emails because you're too busy, you're not going to deliver on that deadline because you're too busy, you've had just so many meetings that you haven't looked at your slacks in the last 6 hours on the shift, and people are just waiting on you to answer. Those are all excuses, and while it may sound valid to you, you have to remember that everybody else is equally, if not more, busy, and they still have to deliver on their stuff too. So that becomes your reputation. That becomes your, your MO, where people will be hesitant to go to you, or they may go above you to your boss and complain that you're not answering. Complain that they've been waiting on you to deliver that one report, and they can't move forward with their project because you are delaying them. And when they've come to you and asked you for help, you said you were too busy and you weren't going to be able to get it to them, at least not for a while. Excuses also waste time, and basically the problem remains unsolved while you're sitting there excusing yourself. It just doesn't make you look good. It's not a good look, right? It's, again, especially, I can't stress this enough, in leadership roles. You probably have aspirations to move to higher leadership roles, Well, how is anybody going to give you that opportunity if you're making a reputation of yourself that you not only cannot deliver, but you're making excuses for it on top of it? Like, just naturally, it's not going to happen for you. You're going to develop a reputation. As leaders, everybody's always watching, and people won't want to work with someone who will create more work for them and that they won't be able to rely on. It's really that simple. So that's one other way that, making excuses can rob you of really reaching your full potential and taking advantage of opportunities that could be open to you. Also, leaders notice patterns. Like, if you have the type of boss that pays attention, one excuse is going to be forgivable. Again, there's always a one-off. We're not talking about 100% of the time. You cannot have an excuse, right? It's just wild. But one excuse is forgivable. A habit of excuses becomes a red flag, and more than likely you're going to be watched a little more closely. That boss that you're reporting into is going to start questioning whether you're still a good fit for the role. Can you still do the job? Are you going to be able to deliver what you're being paid to deliver? And if their answer goes from a strong yes to a maybe, and then probably not, and then no, then you can expect a performance improvement plan. You can expect a PIP. You can expect disciplinary action. And again, that just robs you of other opportunities. They also block your growth. Excuses really are your own blocker at the end of the day. So when you think about it, let's say you have a project that's assigned to you that has a deadline, others depend on that information, that project being delivered, and you make some excuse that it's not going to happen. You've now created more work for somebody else, whether it's your boss or peer, because the work still needs to get done, and it still needs to get done by that date. Okay, just because you couldn't do it because you had some excuse and your dog vomited on the floor and you couldn't do it, too bad, so sad. The work still needs to get done. So that's really going to block your growth. It's going to seep a lot of doubt in with your boss as to whether you can do the job, and more opportunities are going to pass you by. No big projects, no big career moves, no promotions are going to be handed to someone who ultimately dodges accountability, because that's what excuses are, is dodging accountability. So my recommendation would be, you mess up, don't make an excuse for it, give a real reason, take ownership, and make sure that it doesn't happen again. Because if you take ownership, that's half the equation. I've seen this a lot where I've gone to people on my team and asked about XYZ. Hey, is it going to happen? Are you going to have it? And, they would say, oh my God, I dropped the ball. That's totally on me. And I'm sorry. So that's legitimate. They took ownership. They apologized. I didn't need them to apologize, but they definitely took ownership of it. What they didn't do, though, was the second part of that equation, which was, don't let it happen again, right? I didn't tell them that, but I was expecting it to not happen again. And then guess what happened a week later? It happened again. So how could I possibly trust you at this point when A, you missed the deadline, you made an excuse, I accepted it, you owned the issue, and now it's happening again? What's that going to make me think of you? Can I trust you? Can I rely on you? Are you going to be able to deliver? Are you still good for this job? Should I still keep you on payroll? Right? And that sounds very, very harsh, but we're at work to work. We are getting paid to deliver, right? My skill set, I'm getting paid to deliver what's in my skill set and what I have committed to delivering. That's where I signed the job offer. Then the company gives me money for that. That's how it works. We're here to work. We're not here to hold hands and make a bunch of excuses and expect that everybody's just going to forgive us and move on. A business needs to make money. They need to produce, they need to meet deadlines, they need to move forward, they need to remain innovative. And for that to happen, everyone has to be fully accountable for their own actions. So ultimately, I have seen this kill a lot of careers. I have seen this really take away opportunities for advancement from people. And I'm talking talented people, talented individuals with great skill sets who just couldn't deliver and couldn't stop standing in their own way. And it was painful to watch. I genuinely want to promote those people, and I just couldn't. They became completely unreliable. So excuses ultimately will not protect your career. They quietly kill it. They kill your career. Own your mistakes, fix them. I think that's the more important part. Own, then fix. The most important piece is change behavior. Don't let it happen again. Regain that trust, even if it takes a long time, even if it's tough. It's possible. Regain it, have genuine conversations with your boss. Most people are more forgiving than you realize. As long as you're transparent with them, then you prove that you can be trustworthy, and that you're not going to make any more excuses. It's a fairly simple equation here. And really, that's how you're going to stand out, because if you can come back from a situation where you've damaged your reputation, and you've maybe damaged trust with people around you, but you come back from that and you become reliable again for a long duration of time, that can be very beneficial to you and your career, and it'll open a lot of doors for you. So let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Have you had similar experiences? Do you have an opposing opinion? I'm really happy to hear any comments from you guys. Thanks so much for clicking on the video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing, and I hope you have a phenomenal day.